So, what's up with Pokemon? Hey YouTube, my name's Nolan, and I want to thank you once again for joining me on an episode of Game Chat. So what exactly is up with Pokemon? If you've taken a look at a couple of my previous videos, you would have seen my video on So What's Up with Pokemon Gen 1, or Generation 1, and also So What's Up with Pokemon, What's Up with Twitch Plays Pokemon, which was an internet phenomenon where people joined in together on this website known as Twitch and collectively played through the game Pokemon. Twitch Played Pokemon continued a few days after they had beaten the original Pokemon Red, and they continued on with the second generation of Pokemon games. And it's predicted, of course, that following that they will go on to the third generation of Pokemon. Anyway, that's not what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk specifically about Generation 2, the second generation of Pokemon games. So, first generation of Pokemon consisted of Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Red, and Pokemon Yellow. In Japan, they also received Pokemon Green. There were 151 Pokemon in the original games, which you could collect, battle, and trade with different people. There are a few trades that you can make within the game. But ideally, Nintendo wanted you to meet up with your friends and actually connect Game Boys with each other and trade Pokemon from Game Boy to Game Boy. And that was never done before on any game before, to my knowledge, and so that really helped boost the sales of Game Boys and Game Boy games. And the second generation of games, Nintendo added on an extra 100 Pokemon, bringing up the running total to 251 Pokemon, which you can collect in the game and still trade, battle, collect, as you will. What else is new in the games? Well, I've got Pokemon Silver running right here in the background, and I'll point out a few of the things that they've made changes to once we get into gameplay. But why don't I show you what the games are? Originally, the games came out in Pokemon Silver, as well as Pokemon Gold. And I'm sorry I don't have the box of this. This is a used copy. A lot of my newer Pokemon games are used copies because there was a big gap in there when I stopped playing Pokemon games. And then later on down the road, when we got into like the 5th and 6th generation, then I wanted to hop back on board because I thought, you know what, these games are actually fun. They're really starting to stand the test of time. So I have a lot of my games in between are not store-bought. They are bought second-hand through pawn shops. I guess that is still store-bought. Anyway, do you recall from the first generation of Pokemon games, the cartridges are actually the color of the game title. So Pokemon Red, the cartridge was red. Pokemon Blue, cartridge was blue, yellow, yada yada yada. Same thing holds true for the second generation. So as you can see, Pokemon Gold has a golden cartridge. Pokemon Silver, well, I've got that hooked up to my GameCube at the moment in my Game Boy player running through my TV. You're just going to have to take my word for it. Yes, the cartridge is silver. However, the silver is actually very similar to the standard gray cartridge of a regular Game Boy game. So even if I showed it on the camera, you may not notice a whole lot of difference. And last but not least, if you may recall from my previous What's Up with Pokemon Gen 1, Red and Blue originally came out in America at the same time. It wasn't until later that the special Yellow Pikachu edition came out. Nintendo carried on that tradition of coming out with a third game later on. They carried that tradition over into the second generation, and they came out with Pokemon Crystal. Now, of course, this cartridge is not made out of crystal, but it's a translucent, sparkly blue. And let me try to get that so it's not in front of the TV screen here. But you can see that a little bit. So it is shiny, it is translucent, and it has a picture of a Pokemon, Suicune, I believe. Anyway, really great games. The thing that Crystal added, this is a very special edition because Crystal was the very first game in the series where you could actually set whether you're a boy or a girl. Now, previous games, including Gold and Silver, all anticipated you or all assumed that you were a boy. So if you're a girl gamer, sorry, you're out of luck. You're going to be a boy. So that was that. Crystal, just like the other games, has different Pokemon which you can catch in the game. I'm sorry, I'm tripping over my own tongue here. If you have a choice between Silver, Gold, and Crystal, and if they all happen to be the same price, probably go with Crystal. Even if Crystal is worth an extra couple of bucks, go ahead and pick it up because the value of it will probably increase over time because it's the special edition. Especially if it's a great looking copy, if it looks like it's in great shape. Anyway, with that, I'm going to turn it over to the TV screen here and we're going to see a little bit of gameplay from Pokemon Silver. I'll just back up so you can see a little bit better instead of seeing the back of my head. I have the feeling that the battery on my game is dying because it forgot the time. Anyway, today is Saturday, that's when I record. 8:06 p.m., that's actually about the correct time. As you can see in Pokemon Silver, everything is in full color. So it's not fabulous color, it's not, like 256 colors. I think the number of colors it displays is actually about 56. That might be a high number, maybe it's something like 24. Now here's another thing that the second generation of games added, was a night and day feature. So right now, since it's 8 o'clock at night, the game actually shows a very dark background to signify that the sun has gone down for the day. This is actually a very interesting dynamic because different Pokemon come out at different times of day. And it's not complete across the board. It's not like Pidgey show up in the morning and at night it's not there anymore. Some do actually show up around the clock, but it's certain ones, there may be nocturnal Pokemon that typically only show up in the evening. In terms of the gameplay, like I said, there's not a whole lot of difference. So, when it comes to fighting Pokemon, I'm not going to cover a lot of basics there. And in fact, right now, I believe the last time I used this copy of Pokemon Silver, I had actually traded all my best Pokemon over to a different game. So this game has really terrible Pokemon in my party. So as you can see, level 3 Rattata, level 3 Pidgey, 4 Caterpie, another Pidgey, and a Weedle. Really low level Pokemon. So, not really worth hanging on to. But anyway, I just wanted to bring this up to show you what the second generation of Pokemon games are like. Another great feature, let me get here a little bit closer into the screen. Another great feature that this game added was an experience bar during the battles, and I can actually bring that up quickly. I'm going to go ahead and get in a fight so I can show you what I'm talking about. If I could make him run faster, I definitely would. Here we go, a little bit of grassy space and I'll get in a fight in no time. So here we have my enemy Pokemon. Here's his health up here. Here's my health down here. Right beneath it, I don't actually have any experience, but on this bottom bar right here, as I gain more experience, it'll fill up with a small blue bar. That's really a neat feature because in previous Pokemon games, you just kind of had to guess or you had to keep looking back into your Pokemon stats to see how soon they would level up. This is great because going forward, you can always tell how soon your Pokemon are going to level up, during the battles. And so if you know you're about to level up, keep that Pokemon in the party or not. I guess that's completely up to you. This feature has been carried over into every single Pokemon game going forward. So I think that's a great feature. I'm glad that they kept it. Because not a lot of role-playing games do that, actually. Take Final Fantasy games, for instance. They don't tell you, oh, this is how much experience you have while you're in the middle of a battle. It's usually you have to bring up the stats screen, see, oh, you need 300 experience before you level up. But this is a great feature. I love it. I still personally enjoy the Pokemon games quite a bit. I want to thank you for joining me again on another episode of Game Chat. So what is up with Pokemon? Now you know. Pokemon Generation 2. One last thing I wanted to mention about Generation 2 is this game is amazing, or these three games, because not only does it bring you a brand new storyline, it gives you a brand new location, so you have a whole new countryside or level, I don't know if I could say an actual world to explore. So there's a number of towns that you go explore, completely new, completely different from the first generation of games. But in the second generation, after you beat that game, then you can actually go and venture into the world of the first generation of Pokemon games. And then that's really neat because you can visit these old locations. This game actually is supposed to take place 2 years after the first generation of games. And so then you can see how things have changed and evolved in those last 2 years. It's a really great game. It's actually got a lot of replay value. It's got a lot of initial play value. And so I would definitely recommend picking up one of these games. So thank you again for watching my Game Chat. Check out my video next week. Like I said before, I record these videos every Saturday night, upload them for Sunday. So check back every Sunday for a new Game Chat video, and I'll let you know if I'm planning not to record one because I'm too busy with something. Leave me a comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you next week. Thanks.